That chicken and dressing Clifford made gon' take me before that Rona do.
What's up, y'all? What is up? It's your girl EJ, and I am back with another P Valley Talk. Now, today we're going to be reviewing Season 2, Episode 7, entitled Jackson. Let's get into it. Okay, y'all, so this episode is going to start out with our girl Loretta Devine doing her thing. She's going to be singing the Aretha Franklin song, Until I Come Back to You. Now, when it first starts out, she is in a little juke joint that is called The Beautiful. Now, you're also going to see Great Granddaddy Honeycomb over at the bar doing his thing, and you're going to see the evolution of this club. Now, it is now going to be called Ernestine's Juke Joint as we get into the 70s, and then we're going to roll into the 80s, and you just get to see all of this history kind of happening in front of you. Now, this club has always been known for its exchange of money between men and women, if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to see a couple of scenes where they're going to be exchanging money, and you know they're going to be exchanging it for favor. So, you know, roulette would have fit right in this whole situation. So anyway, y'all, we're going to meet a young Uncle Clifford. He's about 4 years old. He's with his mom, Beulah. You're going to see that infamous jukebox right behind them that we see at the Pank today. Definitely means a lot to him because he has kept all of those things, the sign, the Ernestine Juke Joint sign, all of those things. Now, we can see here that Uncle Clifford has always been Uncle Clifford. His mom, Beulah, even calls him Uncle Clifford as a young child. And you can see that he is rocking this Gucci purse like it's nobody's business. Like, he always knew who he was and who he was supposed to be. Now, y'all, we're going to move into the present day where our girl grandmother is not doing so well. You know, she's definitely sick. She's feverish. She's hallucinating, and she's seeing her daughter Beulah, and her daughter Beulah is offering her a drink. Now, supposedly, if someone offers you drink, that could mean some sort of impending death. It's like a omen, a sign, or whatever. Now, grandmother doesn't accept the drink. She turns down the drink because, you know, she can't stay. And obviously, it's just not her time at this time. Now, y'all, we're going to move into the present day with Uncle Clifford. Uncle Clifford is going through it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Uncle Clifford has not only his situation with his grandmother on his mind, she's fighting with Haley, Autumn, Lakeisha Knight Savage, all of that. And then she got a little homicide, little calculator, little murder all up in the house. You know what I'm saying? And she's having to work through all of those feelings with him as well. Now, she's going to go ahead and sit down with Haley and try to talk it out and try to explain to her why she is so against selling this club, why she needs to keep this club. This club is history to her. It is important to her. It's something that was given to her. It's the only thing that she's ever been given. So for her, it's so sentimental. You know what I'm saying? But we're also going to learn that for Haley, it also is a sentimental opportunity, I guess you would say. I don't know if that's exactly the word that I want to use per se, but we do see that it's not just about money to Haley, that there's something deeper for her as well, because she's going to tell Uncle Clifford, like, look, I get it. I understand. You know, I get all of that. But at the same time, she didn't buy the pink to see the pink go up in flames. She didn't buy it to see them lose it. She took money from Montavious, someone who was abusing her, in order to have a better life for her and her daughter. And she used that money to buy this club, to save this club. And in turn, she's seeing it kind of just go up in smoke, go up in flames. And now she doesn't want to lose anything behind that. So she wants to make sure that she gets what the club is worth. You know, and I can understand that coming from that point of view. But Uncle Clifford is like, nope, you're not going to use my family, my ancestors, none of that. You know, this is all about you. But at the same time, I don't think Haley's coming from a negative standpoint on this, but I am going to do a whole entire video about Haley, Uncle Clifford, and all of that, and provide some of my perspectives on that end. So anyway, y'all, they continue to talk, and they don't really come to an understanding. Like, nobody really sees each other. I think they see each other's point of view, but I don't think they really reconciled anything at this. Okay, y'all. So meanwhile, your girl Mercedes has her own situation going on because, Tarika has been staying there with her. Now, the last episode, we learned that Tarika was pregnant. Now, I think Mercedes is really enjoying having Tarika there with her. Shell is like, she already been there, for a few days, and Shell doesn't even remember how many days the girl has been there. Like, Shell really got to get it together, y'all. So Mercedes is trying to talk to her daughter, letting her know, like, hey, what are you going to do? Like, you have to make a decision. And Tarika is just like in this, I guess, this denial world, like not wanting to really just hone in and understand that, hey, a decision has to be made. What am I going to do about my current predicament? Okay, y'all. So meanwhile, your boy Little Murder is going through it, y'all. I mean, he has been crying in his sleep. He is still reeling from that night that Big Teak took his life. Like, he just doesn't know what to do. He has so much grief going on. And not to mention, he has the weight of the world on him as well because he wants to be himself. He wants to live in his truth, but he can't really live in that truth. And you top all of that, with the fact that he tried to stop Big Teak from taking his life and he just couldn't stop him. That's a lot to have to deal with. Okay, y'all. So anyway, he's kind of dealing with this by allowing himself to help take care of Miss Ernestine. So they're talking and she's like, she don't want no more of that chicken and dressing that Clifford done cooked because it's going to take her out before the Rona do. I think that was probably a classic line. And we get to see that your boy Little Murder is definitely Chef Boyardee up in this thing. I mean, he's in here cooking greens and smothered pork chops and candy yams. I mean, grandmother got all of her senses because she knew what all of that stuff was, and they're talking and they're just having a really good conversation. And Little Murder kind of, asked her to put in a good word for him. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, then there is a video I have somewhere in the P Valley playlist that shows this particular scene. You should definitely check it out. It's a great scene. Okay, y'all, so we're going to move on to Keyshawn and Derek. So Keyshawn and Derek are going to be at the store getting things. And it seems that Derek is really, really trying to get Keyshawn back, I guess, in the headspace that he wants her at. Because right now you can kind of see that she has checked out. Like, she has checked out all the way. And he keeps trying to get back into her good graces. He's talking about going down to Jackson to get these Prada booties. And if you remember in, I can't remember what episode it was, but her and Derek actually had got into it over her buying Regal things, telling her how to spend her money. And now he's wanting to go and buy, these expensive boots. So Derek is I think he's just trying to wiggle his way back into Keyshawn's good graces because your girl is gone. She is not feeling Derek right now. Now, we're going to see that Autumn is going to show up at the store and she's going to see Keyshawn, and Keyshawn is going to go to the other aisle to get makeup, and they're going to talk. And Autumn is going to be like, hey, I see you didn't use that gun, that I gave to you. Because if you remember, Autumn lets her know the combination and where that gun is, because for a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people realize that Autumn was in an abusive relationship. That's what she was escaping from. That's what she was leaving from. That's why she took this money and all of that stuff. Like, she wasn't trying to finesse or scam. She was running from an abusive relationship. And that's why she connects so well with Keyshawn, because she sees that Keyshawn is in an abusive relationship and she just wants to help her out. And that's, the whole purpose of her showing up here is to let her know that she can get out. Now, meanwhile, your girl Mercedes and Derek are headed to TCBY, quote unquote. Only Tarika doesn't know that TCBY don't sell ice cream. They're actually going to be headed down to Jackson because Mercedes is trying to get her daughter to focus and understand that this is something that you cannot turn a blind eye to. Like, it's happening. You have to make a choice, a decision. And you can see that, that it's that the relationship that these two have, in my opinion, has always been very sisterly, I would say. It's never been mother-daughter, but right now Mercedes is really trying to mother her a lot, but she's trying not to be her mom, because we're going to get a lot of flashes of her mom. And I think in this whole season we've seen a lot more of the old Patricia Woodbine. And it's very interesting to see how Mercedes grew up. And I think she just wants to do better and be better and not be like her mom. Okay, y'all. So your girl didn't even know that Tarika was only 14 years old. I really thought that she was around the 16-ish year old age range. But Mercedes is trying to let her know that, hey, there are grown women out here who have had issues with childbirth. Pregnancy is life or death for us. And Tarika is going to go on to tell her that, hey, you know, I heard that you could get cancer if you have an abortion. So right now she's been told, you know, this myth, and this is something that the state of Mississippi is known for, because they are a very, very high pro-life state. And I believe, if I am not mistaken, that at the time there is only one abortion clinic in the state of Mississippi, because of course this is pre-Roe versus Wade. So there was only one abortion clinic, and that was in the city of Jackson. So with that being said, she's trying to break down these myths that she's been told and trying to let her know that she has options and she has choices. Now, meanwhile, your boy Wody is going to be talking to Murder, trying to get him to get back ready for this tour, trying to let him know that he's trying to get everything together. He also lets him know that no one has come to claim Big Teak, and Murder is like, hey, you know, HVH is going to take him out like a king. So he's going to make sure that Big Teak is taken care of, him and the Hertz Village Hustlers. So now, Uncle Clifford has made it back home at this point from her little talk with Autumn, and her little Murder are going to have a conversation. Now, it's really cool to see these two kind of interact with each other, but you can tell that little Murder is very apprehensive about talking about the issue with Big Teak, and he doesn't really want to get into it right now because Uncle Clifford does mention him crying in his sleep, but he just doesn't want to talk about it. Now, they are going to go on and really get to know each other a little bit more. And your boy, Little Murder, is going to want to know, you know, what are you? You know, he's going to ask Uncle Clifford, like he's not sure who he is. And Uncle Clifford is just like, I'm Uncle Clifford. Who are you? You know, and he's just going to say something along the lines of, you know, what the world, you know, won't let me be. And we're also going to find out, you know, in this episode as well, that Little Murder, you know, has always been protected and hidden. You know, he has only been with guys who look like him, walk like him, talk like him. So nobody ever knows that he's living this other life, because everybody that he's with looks like him, so he just passes. And with Uncle Clifford, he can't just pass, because Uncle Clifford is, you know, clearly different. Uncle Clifford is a star, y'all. You know, he shines bright. So, or she shines bright rather, and you know, you can't, there's no mistaking who you're with when you're with Uncle Clifford. Now, Little Murder is going to notice that she still has those postcards that, you know, he had sent to her when he was out on the road. And he's going to ask her, you know, like, which one was your favorite? And she's going to tell him, you know, the one where he tells her, I like it, you know, when you wear the color red. So they're just having a really sweet, intimate moment here. Now, meanwhile, Miss Ernestine, grandmother, has run off somewhere. They're figuring it out, and they're going to go try to look for her. Now, they're going to do a flashback when Mercedes pulls into a diner, and it takes her back to a moment when she's with her mom, and they're having dinner, lunch, whatever you want to call it. And her mom is going to tell her, you know, I don't have enough money to cover the bill. And there's going to be a guy that's over there looking at Mercedes, and she's going to be like, you know, go do your thing. And then this is going to take you back to I don't remember what episode it was. It might have been like the first episode, but it was definitely in season 1 where Mercedes tells her, are you going to have me go bend over like you used to do, or something like that? I can't remember the exact words of it, but basically Mercedes was saying that her mom used to basically have her go flirt with men in order to get what they were trying to get. Now, I'm not saying that she was pimping her out or anything like that, and I'm not saying that she was doing anything extra, like she was trying to make her do stuff. I'm not saying that, because I definitely don't think that that's what was going on. She was just having her use her femininity, I guess you would say, to get what they needed, but she was never asking her to do things that, she wasn't doing that. Patricia Woodbine is a lot of things, but she wasn't going there. Now, when she tells her, hey, I can pay for it, she's going to pay for it, but then Patricia's going to see that condom. And this is where you're going to see this walking contradiction kind of pop out right here, because she sees the condom and she goes crazy and she starts to beat Mercedes for having this condom. And this is when we're going to find out about Cortez. Now, if you remember, Cortez is Tarika's is Tarika's dad, and he's older. And so now we know that, Mercedes has been in this relationship with this older guy, and her mom is finding out about it, and she's just beating her in the middle of this restaurant. Nobody is saying anything. Everybody's just kind of looking. But it just goes to show that she is a true contradiction of everything, because she was okay with her daughter flirting with this older man to try to get a free meal. But when she found out that her daughter was having sex, protected, of course, it looks like anyway, she flipped out. Now, her and Tarika are going to continue their road trip to Jackson, and Tarika's going to kind of tell her about Kellen. Now, Kellen is a little guy that Tarika has been dating, and he is the baby's father as well. And we're going to find out that Kellen is an artist, and that Kellen knows about it, and that he wants to keep the baby. And Mercedes is just really trying to talk some sense into her, like, what is Kellen going to do at 14? Like, what type of job is he going to be able to get? How is he going to be able to provide for you guys? And Tarek is going to say something out of line. I can't remember her exact words, but it's going to cause Mercedes to hit her. And then Tarek is going to go on to say that when I'm a mom, I'm never going to hit my daughter. And then Mercedes is going to say, I said the same thing, because, as we saw, her mom, hit her over and over again in that restaurant. And she vowed that when she was a mom, she would never do that. But she did, smack the mess out of her when she said something out of line. And, it was just that concept of repeating the cycle. And so this is what I think Mercedes is internally struggling with, is that she wants to stop this cycle of, what she experienced, and she wants to do better for her daughter. So anyway, they're going to make it to the abortion clinic. And of course, they're going to be met with the protesters, and Tarika, is kind of a little mad at Mercedes still, because she, slapped her in the mouth or whatnot. But Mercedes is going to tell her, they're not going to be there after this baby is born. And so basically they're here now making all this noise, but once this baby is born, nobody's going to be there for you. Where are they going to be? So she's going to get through the crowd, and they're going to get into the clinic. And when she looks back, she's going to see her mom's face, because her mom actually forced her to have Tarika. Now, the thing is that, Mercedes didn't have a choice, but she wants to give Tarika a choice. She wants her to know that she has options, and she doesn't want to force her like her mom forced her and didn't allow her to look at any other options or make that choice for herself. Now they're going to take a look at the baby, and this is when we're going to find out that Tarika is 14 weeks pregnant and 4 days. Now, in order to have an abortion, you can't be more than 15 weeks pregnant. So this means that Tarika has to make a decision immediately. Like, she has to figure out what she's going to do. She has no time left to make this decision, but they do have a 24-hour waiting period. So she has to decide what she's going to do that following morning. Now, meanwhile, they are going to find grandmother. Grandmother's going to be out by the Mississippi River, y'all. Not sure how she got herself all the way out to the Mississippi River, but she's going to be out there. Now, realistically, grandmother could see before. Grandmother became blind later in life. So her senses are really heightened, and she does know how to get around. So I don't think it's far-fetched for us to believe that grandmother can get around. I mean, even in one episode, she talks about how she drives to the courthouse. So she makes her way out here to the river, and she's trying to go get into the water. Now, it feels like she's trying to go meet her daughter, Beulah. Like, she's ready to go. She's ready to let go, and she's almost to the water, but then Uncle Clifford and Murder are going to make it up there to her. And she's gonna, she's like, if I can't get in the water, then just bring the water to me. And so little Murder is going to, of course, bring the water to her by drenching it in a towel and then kind of just drenching it over her face. And at this point, they know they have to get her back home and they have to get her to the hospital. So it was just a really sad, powerful moment at this time, because now, a character that we love a lot, a character that has grown so much in the show, like she provides such a pivotal part of the show. In my opinion, you don't know if you're going to see any more of this character. You don't know if she's going to make it. And it just screams, it just screams so much of a real life situation, because this is, once again, is during the pandemic. This is during COVID, and so many people lost loved ones, and so many people didn't get a chance to say goodbye, because their loved ones were in the hospital and they were there without them. Now, meanwhile, Tarika and Mercedes they're going to be having a heart to heart. They're going to be talking, and they're going to be trying to establish a bond. Like, at this time, I feel like Mercedes is really just trying to bond with her daughter on a mother-daughter level. Like I said, once again, not pressuring her, but she is definitely trying to make sure that she understands that she has to make a decision. Now, back to grandmother, y'all. So they get grandmother back to the house. And at this time, they call the ambulance. And little Murder is like, hey, tell her, say goodbye to her, because grandmother doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to leave. And she doesn't feel like she's ever going to come back. So at this point, we don't even know if we're going to see grandmother ever again. But you see the hurt in Clifford's eyes, and, he feels like he's about to lose his grandmother. And I think it was a really important scene how he was able to say goodbye. Once again, a lot of people lost people and were not able to say goodbye to them. So I think that I think the writers did a really good job with this scene, to be honest, with this whole entire episode. Now, back to Tarika and Mercedes, because at this point, with these two, you can tell that it's time for them to really get to the heart of what's going on in their relationship, because Tarika's mad at Mercedes for leaving her, and she's mad at her for not coming back. Like, I think on some level she understands that Mercedes was young and that she couldn't take care of her, and she had to do what her mom said because of her age. But what about when she got older? I think she feels that Mercedes didn't try hard enough when she was older, when she could take care of her. And Mercedes has always, said, hey, I'm a stripper. They not going to let me have you. You know what I'm saying? Like, no judge was going to give me back my child. And so at this point, I think Mercedes realizes that she just has to be real with Tarika. Like, there's nothing else that she can do but be real. Now, Tarika, of course, is going to run off. She's not going to want to talk to Mercedes. And I think the moment that Mercedes looks into that mirror and she sees her mom staring back at her is when she realizes that she just has to be 100% honest with her so that they can move forward in their relationship. And that's exactly what she does. And I think that this is the real turnaround for these two. I think that their relationship now is going to be able to grow and be stronger as a mother-daughter relationship now that they've kind of broken that ice and got down to the root of it all. And now that Tarika can really hear that Mercedes has always wanted, that she does want her, that just because she was forced to have her doesn't mean that she didn't want her, because I think on some level that's kind of what she thinks. So anyway, y'all, I don't know. I just think that this was a really touching moment, seeing these two characters finally make a turn. Who knows if, you know, the stuff that Shell's going through right now, it seems like Tarika may actually have to stay with Mercedes a little bit longer. And this may be the opportunity that Mercedes has been looking for. And this may allow her to, you know, to be able to be in her daughter's life for good and for Tarika to come stay with her for good. We don't know, but we shall see. Meanwhile, your boy Uncle Cliff is going through it. He's in the shower. He's crying. Like, he literally doesn't know if he's ever going to see his grandmother again because she was holding on for dear life. Now, your boy Little Murder is going to try to make Uncle Clifford feel better. So he's going to do this whole Cisco thing. I mean, it was a lot, but it was really, really cute. Now, Uncle Clifford and Little Murder, of course, are going to have another moment. And as usual, everybody's losing their mind about this doggone episode, but I ain't gonna lie. I mean, Uncle Clifford is really a big guy. I mean, a lot of people are like, they didn't notice how big Uncle Clifford was as opposed to Little Murder. And as we look at it, yeah, he is much bigger than Little Murder. Now, y'all, Tarika and Mercedes, you know, it's the next morning. It's game time. It's decision time. It's time to decide what you're going to do. So instead of Mercedes continuing to try to, you know, get her to see things her way per se, because she never really wanted to make that decision for her. She really wants to give her the choice. So now she's like, hey, you know, you're going to drive. And either way, whether we go to Chucalissa or whether we go to Jackson, I'm going to be here. So she gives her the keys and then she gives her a choice of, you know, what she wants to do. So now it's all on Tarika. What do I do? So when your girl Tarika turns on that blinker and she goes down towards Jackson, I mean, your girl Mercedes looked like she had this big, huge sigh of relief on her face. And, you know, just like she was happy that Tarika made this choice, because in her mind, I'm pretty sure, you know, now she feels like her daughter is going to be able to, you know, possibly go on and do the things that she wants to do in life without, you know, having a child at the age of 14. So although I'm pretty sure she would have been there for her either way, this in her mind is just a better choice, a better decision. So you can definitely see that big sigh of relief on her face. Now they are going to be hanging out at the house, and this is after the abortion, of course. And, you know, they're talking, and then her mom is going to come on the TV. Goodness gracious, Professor, Lord, y'all, she got me calling her Professor. Patricia Woodbine is running for mayor, and I think this scene is important because after Tarika has made such a huge decision, you know, Patricia comes on the screen and Tarika's like, you know, am I going to hell? You know what I'm saying? And Mercedes just tells her, you know, if you are, I'm gonna be right there with you. And they kind of have a moment and they, you know, and they go on. And at the end of the day, it's sort of like how Mercedes says, you know, you can't give, you know, her power. And I think once they have realized that, once Mercedes realizes that her mom has had all of this power over her all of this time, she's now able to break that curse and break that whole stigma and break that that hold that she's had on her, because we've seen it throughout, you know, these last, you know, few seasons that her mom really has this hold on her with all these things that she went through with Patricia, but now she gets to be different with her daughter. So I think this is going to be interesting to see how these two characters go from here. And I think this is the first time that we actually hear her actually call her mom, because she always calls her Sadie's. But I think in this particular scene, she actually calls her mom. So, yeah, that's what's up. So anyway, y'all, we're going to go on to Keyshawn and Regal. Regal is so adorable. But your girl Autumn is going to show up to see Keyshawn. And Derek is like, who is you? You know what I'm saying? Like, Derek has no clue who she is. And then Keyshawn tells her, we used to work at the club together. So anyway, she tells them that she bought a gift for Regal when she was out in Jackson. Yeah, I love how this show the titles always mean a lot in this show. I mean, they've used the city Jackson in a lot of different scenes and areas of the show. They always bring these things back together. Everything is always so meaningful with this show, all the little things. But anyway, she comes in and she tells baby Regal this story. And she tells the story about this girl named Haley who was trying to who had no one, basically, you know what I'm saying? So, and she's really just telling the story of herself, and she's telling the story to Regal, but she's telling it to Keyshawn at the same time. And she's saying how she had no one, and it was just, then one day she had her daughter, and she finally had something, but then she met, the big bad wolf. I'm pretty sure that's not exactly what she said, but y'all know what I mean. And anyway, which was, basically signifying this, this Montavious character and this abusive relationship that she was in. And she had to try to escape that relationship. And when she tried to escape that relationship, her daughter, she could swim, but her daughter couldn't. And so basically her daughter ends up drowning and she loses her daughter. But the whole point of her story is that she waited too late to leave. And she's trying to get Keyshawn to see that don't wait too late. Don't wait until it's too late and you lose the very things that mean the most to you. In her case, it was her daughter. And that's what she's trying to get her to see, that, hey, don't lose these kids because you wait too late. And then she gives Keyshawn the gift. The gift is a cell phone, and just basically letting her know that under Haley Colton, call that number when you're ready to leave, when you're ready to learn how to escape, you know what I'm saying? And so I thought this was a very significant moment because we get to see Haley in a different light. Like, so many people, just don't like this character, Haley Autumn Lakeisha Savage, aka whoever she is, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people don't like this character, but this character has a lot of substance to it, and this character actually is not a bad character at all. Does she do some things, a little, does she do some stuff that, like, I think the reason why she does some of the things that she does is just because she doesn't have a family. She doesn't know the sense of family. And so it comes off a little bit harsher, but I think it all comes from a good place. Is she the ultimate finesser? Absolutely. But I don't think it comes from a malicious place. So that is what's up with season 2, episode 8. Let me know what y'all think about Autumn and about Keyshawn. Do you think that Keyshawn is going to take Autumn up on her offer? Is she going to allow her to help her? Is Autumn going to be the one that helps Keyshawn to finally break free from this situation? Now, y'all, until next time, peace.